Alright everyone, now it's time to talk about the cringe fringe eating one of their own yet again over the TERF debate that's been happening among fourth wave leftoids. Bette Midler is now getting dragged as being, I don't know, bigoted, far right I suppose is the insinuation, and transphobic. Let's read her tweet, link in the description, archived of course. This is Bette Midler the other day, celebrating the 4th of July in style. Definitely some fireworks down below in the comments. You can read them. I archived them for a reason. Women of the world, we are being stripped of our rights over our bodies, our lives, and even of our name. They don't call us women anymore. They call us birthing people, or menstruators, and even people with vaginas. Don't let them erase you. Every human on earth owes you. Now, of course, as someone who understands gender, biology, etc., I mean, she's not wrong. There is a coordinated effort to eliminate the very concept of gender in general. Before it was more like multi-labeled and subjective. Now it's an out-and-out attempt to actually cancel women's existence entirely. This is something, by the way, and this was pointed out even by fucking Hillary Clinton. I'm surprised she didn't get dragged as transphobic. It's been pointed out, it is not helpful to try to promulgate women's rights, like the right to choose, pro-choice, which I am. Again, I'll always point that out when I mention abortion as a subject. You can't really support that if you can't define what a woman is or you don't believe that the label has any meaning. And that's the long and short of it. What's happened with the cringe fringe is that the it pole of the far left has gone so far off the deep end that they don't even see this as a problem. They see it as self-evident. Hey, you know, this person has, you know, they've taken hormones. How dare you use the wrong pronouns? The problem is that when you create a subjectivity within an objective label, woman, man, etc., if you pair any sort of social issue to it, it becomes very, very difficult. It becomes untenable to actually defend the position. The left has already run into this problem. This kind of id pole is rejected by the vast plurality of humans in the world. I would point out the hypocrisy and the amusement of Bette Midler's constant woman posting. Woman's rights this, woman's rights that. Of course. The idea that Roe v. Wade ends and so you become, you know someone from some dystopian novel. It's like Handmaid's Tale. Why don't you take a look around the world, like to basically the entire undeveloped world and most of the developing world? You're not going to find equal rights for women in those countries. They do not exist. Nor do they exist, by the way, for people who are gay. Certainly not for people who are transgendered. The list goes on and on. These people are effectively being NIMBYists by single-mindedly focusing on some, effectively, at some point, meaningless civic or legal issue in the Western world, where people are not living in Handmaid's Tale. They're not living in a dystopia as far as equal rights go. There actually is an attempt to codify such things. You'll find that that's absent in most of the world. Most of the women that live in the world are effectively treated like fucking cattle. I hate to tell you this, but the vast majority of females in the world are not considered equal human beings to men in the civic systems in which they live. I find it grossly hypocritical, number one, for a rich old lady like this to be expounding upon this issue and saying absolutely nothing about these other places in the world where women who supposedly are totally their equal, they're part of the same global sisterhood, are downtrodden and effectively enslaved. I have the same problem with people that support things like gay rights, but the rights of LGBTQAI plus whatever it is now. The acronym keeps changing, so fuck it. I'm not going to bother trying to keep up with the Tumblr stuff. You see a concerted effort to convince people, for example, especially in the United States, that within a couple of years, if we don't elect a bunch of Democrats, of course, it's a very political message. If you don't elect a supermajority of Democrats, the Supreme Court next is going to come for gay rights and for interracial marriages, which Clarence Thomas, I'm sure, would vote for if he wants to get rid of his wife. That's an easy way to do it. We see this over and over again, and then you see people who are gay getting thrown off of buildings in certain other countries for certain religious reasons, and these people say absolutely butt-fuck nothing about it. But I do kind of like this. I like Bette Midler getting dragged. The same as J.K. Rowling. Now, ultimately, I stand with the concept of upholding the basic premise that women exist. I don't have a problem with that. But when you get some vapid, crazy woman that's talking constantly in the Trump derangement sense and rambling about Clarence Thomas and rambling about all of these different things, who clearly has the furthest of far leftoid views in the world. And they get dragged by their fellow leftoids. It's sort of like when people were responding initially to Roe v. Wade. Just random users all across the Twitter sphere especially. And they were saying, well, hands off our bodies, women deserve respect, we're going to be put back in shackles, basically. In other words, we'll live like women already live in 2/3 of the world's surface. And then people would show up to complain and whine and force them to apologize for being bigoted by the fact that they didn't acknowledge the idea that people born male were also women. I'm finding this not politically pragmatic, even beyond the cringiness and the moral side of it and the basic understanding of biology. Is it socio-politically effective? Is it something that is the argument that you're making pragmatic as far as actually promoting the ideas that you have? And the answer is no. It's sort of similar like when the far right, wake of Roe, they've been pushing the idea that the left has gone off the deep end because of things like Northam, the post-birth abortion thing, limitless elective abortions in the third trimester, which the vast majority of the public doesn't support. Their answer for it wasn't, hey, we want to limit that, we want to make sure that there are some sort of limits on abortion because, this is excessive and most people don't support it. Instead of looking at it in that Republican or even Democratic fashion, they instead say, well, we're just going to ban abortion. No, we're not even going to make an exception if a 10-year-old gets raped by her own dad. And people sour on it. It's overstretching. And that's sort of what the left has been doing now for a number of years. And this is the result of it. J.K. Rowling getting called a fascist. Bette Midler getting groan zoned. It was funny. Some of the comments literally boiled down to groan zone, Grandma. Get with the times. Get with the times. I know that this person has a dick, but, they can give birth just the same. Okay, after massive surgery, what are you talking about, dude? What the fuck? Bette Midler, of all people, is now a bigot? Dude, she's about the furthest left that you can go. She's spent half a decade doing nothing but shitposting about how evil Orange Man was. I thought that was the litmus test about who you people liked. All of a sudden, she's problematic. It's a purity spiral. What it is that there's a purity test in place on views that are associated with the far left. I see this beginning to happen, by the way, among the right-wingers as well. Well, you believe abortion should at least be legal in the case of rape? Oh my God, you hate Jesus Christ. It's the same fucking shit. It's really funny to see, but kind of sad too. People are, by and large, they're not that intelligent. I hate to say it. That's about all. Peace out.